Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Goeiemiddag, dames en here. Dumelang Bomme Li Bo Intate. So, we are on day number 8 of our online engineering week. And today we will be talking about industrial engineering. So ons vat 'n bietjie 'n breek van al die elektrisiteit en die meganiese aspekte en ons kyk vandag na bedryfsingenieurswese. As you know by now, you are more than welcome to ask questions. You can just type it right here on this side. You'll see the chat function on YouTube. You can just type those questions, and as we receive them, we will answer them in today's discussion. So as I'll vra asseblief moenie huiwer om dit te vra nie, of jy 'n student is, of jy 'n ouer is en of jy net 'n belangstellende is, jy is meer as welkom om daardie vrae aan ons paneel te vra. Now, today we will start our discussion with one of our alumnus. He's an industrial engineer. So we'll start with Gideon Maas. Gideon, welcome to today's discussion. Just start off by telling us what is the path you took to get to where you are now, and just tell us about where you are currently working.
Yeah, so my name is Gideon Maas. I grew up in the south coast in Marshall Bay. Basically, I started studying out mechanical engineering, and in the middle of my second year, a lot of technical information of the things we were studying bored me a little bit, to be honest. So I had industrial engineering was something that just started in my second year at the university, and they only allowed a few specific individuals to actually start with the industrial engineering course, and I was lucky enough to be one of those few. So we started on, I had to do my first year subjects for industrial engineering as part of my second year, so we had a bit of classes on the weekends and so on. Finished the course, had an amazing time with that, did my master's degree, finished that a few months ago as well, also in industrial engineering. And then at the end of my bachelor's degree, I actually wanted to do my master's degree at a company close to Potchefstroom, and in the end they actually gave me a job there, so I started working there and did my master's part-time while working there. And that company is Master Drilling, so it's a very large drilling company, subcontractor for mining companies, and that's where I'm currently at the moment.
Wonderful. So you're currently working for Master Drilling. We like to ask this question. Ons vra dit 'n paar keer. Vra ons, kan 'n mens oor see werk met 'n graad by die NWI? So ek gaan vir jou vra, vir die maatskappy wat jy tans werk, was jy al oor see en hoe was dit?
Yeah, so an industrial engineering degree is internationally accredited. The company that I work for is actually with the biggest company in the world in terms of drilling services. And I myself have been to a lot of different countries, mostly in South America, but I went to Sweden as well. And we drill all over the world. From Australia, we have companies in China, we all over Africa, North America, Canada, South America. So we everywhere in the world. So there's definitely opportunities for any industrial engineer anywhere in the world.
Baie dankie Gideon. Soos julle kan hoor, en die vraag word elke keer gevra, nog elke dag kom die antwoord deur. Die ingenieursgraad by die NWI word geakkrediteer deur EXA en gevolglik gaan jy oor see kan werk met die graad wat jy verwerf aan die NWI. So my volgende vraag sal wees, want ons kyk vandag spesifiek na bedryfsingenieurswese. So Gideon, if I can ask you this on a daily basis, what exactly does an industrial engineer do? What does your work entail?
Yeah, so I think obviously that depends on the current or the environment you find yourself in. So industrial engineers are found in the banking sector, in consulting companies, some actually in specific mining companies as well. And me myself, I'm playing more of a consulting role within our Master Drilling group of companies. So basically what we do is we do business improvement projects. So we look holistically at our entire group of businesses, be it all over the world. And then we have a team of industrial engineers who team up with a few IT personnel, and then we do business improvement projects. So we do looking at different systems and processes, mainly processes. and looking where can we remove the waste from those processes to make the business function more optimally, cheaper, increase throughput of the business, maybe decrease the costs of actually engaging in business with our clients and making the business more profitable in the end. So for me, that's mostly project management. So connecting with different stakeholders in the projects, be it developers or be it operational personnel or senior management or even mid and low level management. I had to do everything from developing web-based applications to developing Power Apps to working with workflow software and now even robotic process automation, which we're currently busy with. And so yeah, that's more or less my role. So if I can just summarize that, you're the connection point between a lot of people to make sure a specific goal gets attained to improve the profitability of your business.
Thank you very much, Gideon. Well, also joining us today is Inga Guess, also an alumnus of the Northwest University and also an industrial engineer. Good afternoon, Inga. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, Corneels. Thank you for having me. It's such a privilege to be here with you all. So like Corneels just said, I'm Inga Guess. I am 24 years old. So I'm actually a recent graduate from the Northwest University. I started with industrial engineering from the start. I think where my story takes a bit of a turn was probably in my end first year. I really felt, I don't know, a bit confused. Where should I go? Am I pursuing the right degree? I went and I did some tests again to see if I'm following the right path. And well, turns out he said, well, the best job for you would be industrial engineering. So I pushed on through it, and I can't be more happy that I actually did it. I wouldn't try to do anything else than industrial engineering. I currently work at a engineering consulting company called Fourier E. We are based in Pretoria, Centurion. We're not that big. We're a group of, I think, 15 industrial engineers, and we do a wide variety of projects in various sectors. So we have a lot of business and projects for the cash centers and banks of South Africa. We do a lot of projects for the mines. I'm currently on projects for manufacturing plants as well as warehousing. Yes, so actually a bit of everything.
Wonderful. Now, I'm going to latch on to what you just said. Again, this message is coming through since we started talking about the various engineering disciplines. It's so wide. It's actually a very difficult question to answer. What exactly is an engineer? And more specifically, what is an industrial engineer? It's a difficult question. But a question that I do have, which set of skills would you say is the skills that sets the industrial engineers apart? What skill set would you say do you use on a daily basis?
Well, I think there's a few, but definitely, if you're a person ever standing in line in a shop and you're frustrated with why aren't they doing it this way? It would be so much quicker, or it would work so much better. That way of thinking is definitely the essence of being an industrial engineer, because that's what we do. We make things better and faster. And if you have that skill set of identifying a gap where we can improve something, then you're set to be an industrial engineer.
Baie dankie Inga. So daai boodskap hoor ons. Daar's 'n probleem, daar's 'n kreatiewe oplossing daarvoor nodig en dan pas mense sekere stel beginsels toe om daardie kreatiewe oplossings mee vorendag te kom en dit is 'n ingenieur en dit is spesifiek ook wat 'n bedryfsingenieur is. Nou, voordat ons aangaan, hier is 'n vraag en die vraag is van Johanay Rabie en sy sê middag Johanay, waar sal julle aanbeveel vir 'n meisie om shadow werk te doen? So the question, and we do get this quite a lot, if you're a girl, well, the question is, can you study engineering if you're a girl? And I think we have answered that virtually in every single session, and the answer is yes, we need women in engineering. But the question she's asking, where would you recommend somebody like you, Anay, looks around to do shadow work? What would you? I'll ask the question to you, Inga, and then I'll also ask the question to Gideon. Inga.
Thank you. So I think definitely it really depends on what you're interested in. I'd recommend definitely a type of consulting company so that you can be introduced to the different types of things. I don't know actually why I was speaking English because your question was Afrikaans. Maar ja, dit hang regtig af waarvan jy hou. So definitief 'n konsultasiemaatskappy, dan gaan jy 'n bietjie blootstelling kry in al die verskillende areas. Jy kan bietjie rondspring ook tussen konsultante en daai projekte om te sien, is daar 'n spesifieke veld waarvan jy hou of is daar soos hou jy ook van soos ek om ietsie van alles te doen? En vir my persoonlik, ek hou nogal van om mooi aan te trek en netjies te lyk en konsultasie gee 'n bietjie daai tree in die besigheidswêreld in om dit ook te doen. So ja, dis wat ek kan sê.
Baie dankie. Inga, Gideon, wat sal jy sê van jou kant af?
Ja, ek kan eintlik maar net 100% saam Inga stem. Ek dink veral as mens nog nooit van tevore in 'n spesifieke organisasie of omgewing gewerk het nie, dan hoe meer verskillende goed jy kan sien eintlik hoe beter. Ons het in die mynomgewing twee dames wat by ons shadowwerk gedoen het laas jaar en hulle is aangestel hierdie jaar en hulle love wat hulle doen. En aan die ander kant is daar weer as jy na Inga se geval kyk, 'n meer konsulterende omgewing of verskillende besighede eintlik maar aangepak word. Dis net so amazing. En ek dink op die einde van die dag as 'n bedryfsingenieur het jy die voorreg om in 'n klomp verskillende omgewings jou denkwyse te kan bied as waarde. So ek sal saam met Inga stem en sê gaan daar waar jy die meeste exposure kan kry want dis waar jy gaan agterkom waarvan jy eintlik hou.
While we are talking, I think a good question will be, if you are an industrial engineering student and you obtain your degree, for which companies will you work one day? So that's one thing. And the other question I have, is it possible to work for yourself? So that will be the two questions. So Gideon, I will ask you to list the name of companies that springs to mind that you can list and whether it's possible to work for yourself. And then I will go back to Inga just to hear from an industrial point of view.
Perfect. So, I mean, you can work for Shoprite, for Checkers, you can work for aluminum manufacturing companies. There's a lot of consulting firms. I can't even think of all of the names now, but for Gideon is one great one that I had to do with as well. All of the mines can be listed. It can be Anglo, it can be Polo World, and those guys. I mean, it's endless opportunities. So I think in terms of your skill set, you can add value anywhere. In terms of starting your own thing, I think definitely an industrial engineer has the skill set to start their own thing. Obviously, it depends on what your interests are in. And some of our lecturers had their own businesses. Me and my wife started our own business now. But one thing I would recommend is just getting some exposure to how the business world works before trying to start your own thing, just to get some better exposure.
Baie dankie Gideon. Ek dink dit is 'n belangrike aspek ook vir die ander ingenieursvelde. Dit is moontlik om vir jouself te kan werk, maar uit die aard van die saak dis voordelig om dalk net 'n paar jaar ervaring eers op te doen van die industrie. So before you start attempting doing something by yourself, just a couple of years in industry will not hurt. In fact, it will help a lot. Inga, on that?
So I'm just going to name a few companies that he didn't necessarily name is any cell phone company. So from Vodacom, MTN, all of those. Then of course, any manufacturing company. So all your different car brands from Toyota, Ford, all of them. Then of course, I don't know how many of you actually know this, but places like theme parks, Disneyland, actually has a huge group of industrial engineers to improve the flow in the theme park as well. So the possibilities are really endless for industrial engineers. You can't really place an industrial engineer in a box when it comes to where they can work. And then in terms of being an entrepreneur, I love like industrial engineers and entrepreneurial skills. Starting your own business really go hand in hand together. I think Mia will also tell you guys a bit later, but in your final year of industrial engineering, you actually have a subject that's business engineering and showing you and teaching you the skills to think of starting your own business, how to create a unique product or a unique service. So industrial engineering definitely gives you that stepping stone to have your own business one day.
Thank you very much, Inga and Gideon. So daar, ek hoop dit gee julle 'n goeie idee en dis oral in 'n maatskappy wat ek ook sal bygooi. Ek onthou destyds toe ek by Sasol gewerk het. Sasol het ook bedryfsingenieurs gehad. So Dis weer eens so wyd en dit maak die bedryfsingenieursgraad en daarmee saam ook die ingenieursgraad so 'n goeie graad, want dit is 'n graad wat jou in staat stel om in 'n magdom verskillende maatskappye te kan werk. Enerzijds, maar ook anderzijds om vir jouself te kan werk in 'n konsultatiewe kapasiteit, as daar so 'n woord in Afrikaans is. Consultative role that you can play. Yes. So that's that. So we're going to move from industry, we're going to go more to the academic side of things. And one of the lecturers in the School of Industrial Engineering is Mia Mangaru Pillay. And first of all, she's going to tell us about herself, but just to note, and I think if there are any brides or brides-to-be out there, she got married last week. So she had to deal with the whole lockdown, getting married, all those dreams. So yeah, so that's another question. I'm throwing that in because we do things differently today. So yeah, that's one of those interesting things. So Mia, welcome. Who are you and how did you deal with this whole getting married? And congratulations also, by the way.
Me, as you said, my name is Mia. So I think the true industrial engineer in me and my partner came out Friday when we had to be absolutely creative with the way we wanted to get married and celebrate our marriage or our union, because as you know, the whole world's currently in lockdown. So nothing like an industrial engineer with problem solving techniques to solve that.
Wonderful. And you got married to an industrial engineer. That's it's an interesting combination, industrial engineer plus another industrial engineer. So it's a winning combination that we have there. Mia, my question to you would be, looking at the curriculum of industrial engineering, what subjects are unique to industrial engineering? Take us through that.
Okay. So firstly, like everybody's been saying, industrial engineers optimize systems by creatively solving problems and integrating our solutions with people, processes, technology, and data. That's just in a nutshell. So in order for our industrial engineers to really be equipped to deal with this, we have about 6 main subject or module groups. In addition to, of course, the mathematics and physics and all the science and stuff like that that engineers do in general. So the first group we have is optimization and control. Here we have things like systems engineering, optimization modules themselves, data analytics, business analytics, facilities design, really anything that teaches you how to optimally develop a solution or optimally change something for the better. The next subject group we have is statistics and simulations. Here we have things like, of course, self-explanatory statistics. We also have 3D simulation modeling, sort of using Flexim, like Inga said, she does for her job. And then we have hard coding simulations as well. So that's literally like programming solutions to give you an optimal result for the best suited solution. The next subject group we have is operational excellence and supply chain. So these are basically modules that deal with people and processes and how to integrate them efficiently and how to engineer processes around people. So that's something that's really unique to industrial engineers. And supply chain, of course, is something that's very much surrounding logistics. The next subject group we have is programming and IT. Here, it's very self-explanatory. As an engineer, you have programming almost every year through the 4 years. And we do stuff like web-based and data programming. You learn stuff like MATLAB and Python and C++. So you can really go into the world ready to code as an engineer. The next very cool group we have is business improvement and management. Here we teach our undergrads stuff like labor law. So when you do introduce new systems and processes to companies, you are taking into consideration the legislation of the country and designing your solutions around that. We have things like business engineering, which is really cool because it teaches our students how do we go about designing businesses for products and ideas that haven't been developed yet? How do we come up with innovative solutions using technologies that are not developed yet? So it's a really cool module. We also have subjects like operations management, which again deals with people and processes and the semantics behind that. And the last subject group we have is manufacturing design. This overlaps a lot with our mechanical engineering students and their subjects. We have things like systems engineering, which teaches you systems thinking and that sort of thing, which is really, really imperative for an engineer to know. We have quality assurance, facilities design, and manufacturing technology, to name a few.
Wonderful. That is a mouthful, but that's what we see and that's what we gain. Ons kan hoor dit is hierdie hele lys van spesialiteitsvelde en dit alles is dan natuurlik deel van die wêreld van die bedryfsingenieur. So dit is wonderlik. So if you have questions, please pop those questions in the live chat. We'll get to them. So I'm going to continue. We have two students. So we want to hear a bit from their side. Wat is julle ervaring? So Sunique, ons gaan met jou begin. Vertel ons 'n bietjie, hoe is dit vir jou as 'n ingenieurstudent in bedryfsingenieurswese? How is it to be a student in industrial engineering?
Hallo julle, my naam is Sunique. Ek is tans 'n derde jaar bedryfsingenieursstudent. As julle die episode gekyk het waar ons gepraat het van die lewe as ingenieurstudent, sal julle gesien het dat ek daarso gesê het dat ek in my eerste jaar BSc geswaat het en toe oorgeskuif het ingenieurswese toe. So ek is 4de jaar op die PUK, maar ek is 'n derde jaar bedryfsingenieursstudent. En vir my is dit regtig baie lekker. Ek geniet dit verskriklik baie. Dit is baie interessant en die vakke of die modules wat ons het is regtig baie interessant, veral as jy daarvan hou, soos wat Inga gesê het, as jy heeltyd fout vind met alles of as jy dink, "Jesus, maar jy sou hierdie nou so gedoen het," of hulle net 'n bietjie vinniger gaan of wat ook al nie. So as jy regtig as jy perfeksionis is, as jy OCD het, dan is 'n bedryfsingenieur die perfekte werk vir jou want jy wil alles hê dat dit perfek moet loop en dit moet vinnig gaan en daar's nie tyd om te mors nie. So die modules is vir my regtig baie lekker. Ons het in ons eerste jaar het ons maar wiskunde, toegepaste wiskunde, chemie en fisika vakke gehad en dan ook IT, die programmeringsvakke. Dit is iets wat ek baie graag wil noem. Ek het nie IT op skool gehad nie. Ek het die stryd 7 gehad, so biologie en wetenskap en rekeningkunde en ek is baie spyt as ek kon oorkies sou ek definitief IT gekies het want ek het baie gesukkel daarmee. Dit is moeilik. En hulle wag ook nie regtig vir jou nie, so jy moet maar vinnig opvang of vir jou 'n maatjie kry wat kan programmering doen want anders gaan jy agterraak. Maar ek het nie IT op skool gehad nie en ek het wel die vakke deurgekom. My ding is, maar ja, ek het dit daarom deurgekom, so dis al wat saak maak seker. So ja, ek wil dit net graag uitlig. As jy graad 10 is of en jy moet nou modules kies of vakke op skool, ek dink dit is belangrik om IT te kies as jy nie weet wat om te kies nie. Ek sou definitief dit gekies het as ek kon oorkies. Maar verder is ja, soos ek sê, dis regtig baie interessant. Ek het nie so baie klas soos die gewone derdejaars bedryfsingenieursstudente nie, omdat ek in my eerste jaar vrystelling gekry het op 'n paar BSc vakke. So toe kon ek in my tweede jaar al 'n paar derdejaars vakke ook vat en nou het ek bietjie minder modules as die res van die derdejaars ingenieurs, maar volgende jaar sal ek nou finale jaar wees met al my vierdejaars vakke.
Thank you very much, Sunique. So a bit of advice, especially for the younger viewers who have to make choices with regards to subjects. It's not a bad idea to take a subject like IT. So you have to take maths and science that you know you need for engineering. But if you are wondering what other subjects to take, IT will be a good friend to take. And I think that in any case, given the world we are living in and given the future, IT will play more and more an important role in our society. So that's important. Right. We also have Danica, all the way from Delareyville, if I'm not mistaken. So vertel ons 'n bietjie, Danica, jou belewenis van 'n bedryfsingenieurswese. Ons luister graag.
Goeiedag almal, ek is Danica Rousseau en ek is tans in tweede jaar op die PUK en ek swaat bedryfsingenieurs. So bedryfsingenieurs was vir my die enigste opsie om te gaan in ingenieurswese want dit het 'n baie wye veld en veral vir meisies soos ons is dit regtig 'n baie soos jy kan enigiets soos ek wil baie graag 'n dokter geword het. So toe besluit ek gaan 'n ingenieur word, so 'n bedryfsingenieur en dan gaan ek in die mediese veld gaan en dan kan ek sommer vir die dokters sê hoe moet hulle werk doen. So dit was nou maar my opsie. So ja, en bedryfsingenieurswese soos almal, dit is 'n stewige kursus, soos moenie nie dit vir 'n grap vat nie. Dis regtig nogal, dis nie so maklik nie. Jy moet maar 'n bietjie effort insit en tyd insit en alles, maar en almal sê bedryfsingenieurs is die BC van die ingenieurs. Dit is nie die waarheid nie. Ek sukkel party dae. En ek sien 'n lekker lag Corneels. Maar ja, dis baie lekker vak. Ek kan nou nog nie so baie sê van ons spesialiseringsvakke nie, want ek is nou nog net 'n tweede jaar en ons tweede semester gaan ons nou 'n bietjie meer spesialiseringsvakke hê, maar ek het al eenetjie gehad en ek moet sê daai eerste vak het my regtig besef dat ek regtig van hierdie vakke is. Soos ek het net eintlik in 'n bedryfsingenieurswese ingegaan om net soos iets te swat en toe ek daai vakke het waar ons goed geoptimaliseer het en 'n bietjie van die tools wat ons nou maar noem geleer is. En toe kom ek agter, maar dis regtig lekker en ons het 'n taak gedoen om bietjie te sien waaroor bedryfsingenieurswese gaan. Ons het bietjie in die industrie ingegaan en bietjie goed gaan optimaliseer, maar op 'n klein basis nou, maar dit was baie lekker en toe het ek regtig agtergekom, dit is regtig iets vir my en ja, dis maar wat ek kan sê.
So Mia, maybe while we're waiting for Corneels, I mean, on that topic of some of the ladies or the guys wondering on the different subjects prior to getting to the industrial engineering subject. So maybe I think it's good to take note of the fact that you have more or less a year and a half to 2 years of like, general science subjects. But how would you go around preparing for those?
It's really important to attend all of your lectures, and I think a lot of people say this, but I genuinely mean it. Attend your lectures, do the tutorials, and campus has a lot of support. There's a lot of facilitation, and I'm not sure if the math center is still open, but there's a lot of support to bridge that gap between high school maths and physics and then university maths and physics.
Right. There's actually, we have a nice session this coming Monday. That will be our last session this coming Monday, talking about additional opportunities in maths and physics to help specific 11 and 12. And if you are in grade 11 or 12 or grade 10 going to grade 11, you should tune in because we're going to talk about things that might benefit you. And if you are matric and you are enrolled to study here next year, that will also be for free, if I understand it correctly. Right. So I have a question, and I'll move to you, Gideon. So you did your master's degree. So after your 4 years BEng, na jou 4 jaar B in bedryfsingenieurswese, het jy voortgegaan met jou M. So my question is, specifically, what did you do your master's degree on? And what other options are there to do a master's in industrial engineering? And would you say a master's degree is imperative if you want to work one day? That's a couple of questions. You have a lot to talk on.
So let me start with what I did my master's in engineering degree on. So I tried to optimize our drilling machines at the company that I work for by using data science. So building dashboards, looking at the data that we get from our drilling machines, and then trying to help our project managers who run those to actually improve the way that they work and see where they can save time, costs, etc. So that was what I did my master's in. I think, yes, as far as what you can do your master's in as an industrial engineer, that's as wide as the different amount of fields that there are. I mean, between Inga and myself, we mentioned a lot. So it can be anything from optimizing aeroplanes to supply chains to working in the banks to actual computer engineering. You can do a lot with technology and industrial engineering nowadays. And I think there's a large focus being put on the data analysis side as well. So machine learning, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, a lot of those things are starting to develop. And I know Mia mentioned this earlier as well. A lot of the technology side and the coding side of things is being included in the industrial engineering degree. And I think the weight that it's going to be carrying in the next few years is going to increase. Whether it's necessary to have a master's degree or not, I don't think you need a master's degree to work as an industrial engineer. I think a master's degree teaches you a skill set which further improves you as an individual. And I think it's a good idea if you have the capacity and if you have the time and the finances available to do that. And I know the Northwest University does have a lot of bursaries for master's students. So even part-time, the university funded my master's degree for me. But I do think it's a valuable skill set to do your research, to learn how to do research, how to be inquisitive on certain subjects, how to figure things out yourself. I mean, that's going to be something you're going to learn in your engineering degree throughout all 4 years of it. And I mean, if you end up at the university, you're going to be using these words a lot that nobody showed me how to do this, and they're going to expect me to do this. And I think all of the students and Inga as well and Mia can agree with me. But that's the skill set that you need to function properly as an engineer, any type of engineer within industry. So definitely valuable, definitely beneficial. I don't think it's necessary though, but it does open a few doors for you.
Baie dankie Gideon. So met dit gaan ek dan 'n vraag vra vir jou Inga. En jy as ek reg het nie 'n meestersgraad nie. So wat sou jou antwoord wees? What would be your answer to that question? Do you need a master's to be able to work as an industrial engineer? What's your take on that?
So funny enough, Corneels, I'm actually registered and I'm currently busy part-time with my master's degree. But I agree with what Gideon said, that it's really, it's not necessary. I know a lot of successful industrial engineers in the industry that didn't do their master's degree. For myself, the reason I decided to continue my studies and do a master's degree is because I'm just like Danica, very interested in the healthcare environment, and I wanted to teach myself extra tools to equip me to I don't know, go out and actually make a change in healthcare in South Africa. So my project or my master's topic is then in healthcare and more in that environment. So my advice would be that whether even if you're just passionate about a specific field and you want to gain extra skills, do it. But if you're not interested in doing a master's, nothing's going to stop you from being a successful engineer.
Wonderful. En ek dink dis 'n belangrike boodskap vir mense daar buite wat wil weet, is 'n graad genoeg? Het ek 'n meestersgraad ook nodig? Het ek nodig om my doktorsgraad te doen? Hoe ver moet ek gaan? En 'n B-ing is voldoende om te werk daar buite, maar dan uit die aard van die saak dalk is daar die behoefte of die begeerte en die finansies om verder te studeer, en dan is dit moontlik om natuurlik voort te gaan met 'n meestersgraad. Party mense wil verder gaan as 'n meestersgraad en wil 'n PhD ook doen. By all means, stay as long as you want to. You will always be welcome in Potchefstroom. But one thing that Inga touched on, there's always the possibility of going part-time. You need not do a postgraduate qualification full-time. But that's difficult, and hats off to you, Inga, for doing that. That's not that easy. Right. So, let me ask this question. Mia, I'm jumping back to the academic side of things. Let's give a bit of an overview. How are classes conducted? Generally, how would classes be for somebody studying industrial engineering? How do those classes look?
First, I want to put a disclaimer and say I'm answering this question like outside of the coronavirus situation. So currently everything's online, but if it wasn't for that, you would probably come in around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it's a full day. You finish around 5:30-ish, give or take. And you have contact sessions, you get lectures, you do tutorials, you write your tests, exams, but we also have a lot of practicals. So in your first 2 years, there's practicals almost every other afternoon. And as you go up, it still continues. There's a lot of practicals. And I think the good idea about the practicals is it gives you a chance the theory that you're learning in perspective and to work with it and get feedback from your lecturers and demis and that sort of thing. So that's quite nice. While I'm talking about classes, I want to also let you guys know that we try a lot to bring industry examples into our classroom because industrial engineers, we don't really have a lab like your chemical engineers do. We always joke and say the industry is our lab. So we try a lot to bring in those case studies and that sort of thing.
Excellent. That gives a good idea of how these classes look and how they are. we've talked a bit earlier on exactly how does a general day in the life of an industrial engineer or an engineering student at the NW that looks. Right. So, am I back? Am I gone? Am I here? Am I not here? Right. I'm here. Right. So, I would then like to move on to the following. If you have any questions, please feel free to type those questions. We will handle those questions as we go along. As daar enige vrae is, asseblief voel vry om te vra wat jy wil vra in die chat funksie hierso. Ons het 'n vraag. Ludwig Olivier wat vra. Why should I study B-Eng Industrial instead of BCom Management? Dit is 'n baie goeie vraag. Hoekom bedryfsingenieurswese en nie BCom bestuur nie? So ek gaan dit sommer omdat ons 'n lekker geselstyd het. So Mia, I'll start with you and then also I'll move to the guys in industry to answer that question. Mia.
So if I understand you correctly, we're looking at BCom versus BEng.
Well, specifically BCom Management versus BEng Industrial.
Okay, I think the first thing I want to clarify is, and I mean no disrespect saying this, industrial engineers and engineers in general are very problem-solving orientated people. So and with industrial engineers specifically, although we do a lot of stuff that comes across like management tools and techniques, we are at the same time solving complex engineering problems. We are developing new solutions. We are looking at things that are absolutely innovative and to not sound cliche, but I will say you're looking at making something that's in the future happen now. So that's the difference. And I think with your BCom subjects, you do a lot more on the business side. You do a lot more on the accounting and management side there. But with engineering, you are going to learn a lot more about how you are looking at flow and optimization. There's a lot more mathematics, that sort of thing. And the problems that you deal with on a day-to-day basis is a little bit more complex, if I can say that.
Can I jump in here?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I think I also had this question when I started industrial engineering, and also when deciding on what to do my master's on, was should I do like a master's in business or master's in industrial engineering, and like where should you go? I think on the one hand, the question relates to I think I'm going to be in management one day anyways, so why do engineering if I can just do the management degree? So when you start working in industry, you're not going to be in a management position. I think that's the first thing to actually take note of, because we do sometimes forget that. And it's going to be a few years before you get to a management position, if in fact you do get to a management position. So the skills and stuff that you're going to learn within BCom, in your BCom degree, is going to be, as Mia mentioned, related to a business environment. But you're going to be learning to manage things as they currently are. So if that is the type of thing that you want to do, by all means, go and do that. But I think on the other hand, like as industrial engineers, and I'm going to speak on behalf of us, but you ladies are welcome to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we want to manage things that they are. We want to take things to a next level. I mean, it's more like a leadership into a specific direction rather than managing things as they currently are. So that would be my quick answer. And obviously, you do learn a more analytical skill set in any engineering degree, so not just industrial engineering. And that skill set is worth a lot because you can tackle more complex problems in the business environment. So it can be more interesting for some people. Obviously, that's each to his own. So it depends what your interests are in.
I would add to that, it depends on what you actually want to do. So for example, every project I've been on, and I've been on 3 projects this year, a BCom management degree wouldn't have helped me, and it wouldn't have given me the skills to solve the problems. A practical example of that would be my project was at one of South Africa's biggest cold chain distribution companies, and I had to simulate their entire warehouse, yard, and site flow, and how everything on that site integrates with one another, interacts with one another, and to show them where there's room for improvement. And an industrial engineering degree gave me those skill sets, and the subjects that we have only in industrial engineering showed me or educated me with the skills to actually solve that problem. On the other side, even in a warehouse itself, it's one thing to manage something, but then when you have, I think one of the Excel documents that I had was literally, without lying, 1 million lines of data entries. And engineering showed me how to take that amount of data and turn it into something, and I can make decisions on, or change it into, or turn it into information. I don't know if I make sense, but management helps you to manage something, where an industrial engineering degree helps you to solve a problem, and it's not anything like management. Yes, I hope that helps.
Thank you very much. I think that's well answered. So we have a question, Kayla Creer. Kayla, baie welkom ook aan jou. Middag, waar sal julle voorstel kan bedryfsingenieurs aansoek doen vir beurse buite by die universiteit self? Where do you think, just to answer that, it's a good question. So if you go to the engineering page, engineering.nwu.ac.za, you can click there on study here, and under study here, there will be bursaries and job opportunities. If you register there, click there and register to our database. What will happen is you will receive emails with the information required to apply for bursaries in industry. So it will save you a lot of time. So wat ek wil sê, Kayla, gaan registreer net daarvoor, sodra daar beurse is wat die industrie gee, spesifiek vir bedryfsingenieurs, sal jy dan 'n e-pos kry met die instruksies van hoe jy moet aansoek doen daarvoor. So dis die beurskantoor van die fakulteit ingenieurswese. Ons help julle om inligting te kry sodat julle kan aansoek doen vir beurse daar buite. So yes, we would love to assist. Just go there, register, and we will send you the information as we go along. Now, Sunique has made the people fear IT, and that was not what they should have done. IT is your friend. So die opvolgvraag van Kayla, sy wil weet, ek is 'n matriek en ek het nie IT nie. Watter raad het julle? Ek het gehoor dis moeilik. En ek sien die vrees hierso in jou vraag. Kayla, daar moet nie vrees wees nie. So the question is, I do not have IT at school level. I do not have IT at school level. Will I manage? That would be the question. So I'm going to ask Inga your opinion. I don't know whether you had IT at school level. I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask Mia. I'm going to ask you, what would be your words to Kayla, because she seems stressed? Kayla, jy moenie stres nie. Hulle gaan vir jou mooi antwoord gee vir wat hier moet gebeur.
Ja, so Kayla, van my kant af, ek het in my graad 10 jaar het ek eintlik IT gehad op skool, en ek het nie op 'n stadium van dit gehou nie. Ek het ook gesukkel, en toe sê ek het vir my ouers, weet julle, dalk gaan ek dit skuif, en ek het toe 'n ander vak gevat in sy plek, en toe kom ek op universiteit, en soos Unique gesê, toe is daar IT, maar ek dink op die einde van die dag, dis net soos enige ander vak. Jy gaan blootgestel word in universiteit, aan verskeie vakke wat jy nog nooit gehad het nie, materiaal wat jy nog nooit gesien het nie, maar daar is soveel ondersteuningselemente van fasiliteringssessies waar soos ander studente wat reeds die vakke gehad het jou kan help, of wat ek baie van hou van die NWU se ingenieurswese fakulteit is dat die dosente se deur regtig altyd oop was vir my terwyl ek gestudeer het. So die oomblik wat ek vasgehak het, kon ek regtig na 'n dosent toe gaan met 'n vrymoedigende hart en sê, "Marie, ek het hierdie probeer en ek sukkel regtig met hierdie konsep," en hulle kon help. En dan definitief, ek dink deur hierdie hele reeks van die ingenieursweek, ek weet nie hoe baie jy gevolg het nie, maar die NWU se fakulteit, ons ingenieurswese fakulteit, dit was so 'n voorreg om deel te wees daarvan, want die studente ondersteun mekaar ongelooflik mooi. wees rustig. Jy gaan vriende hê om jou wat dit makliker dalk regkry of dalk jy selfs iemand wat dit makliker gaan regkry as wat jy nou dink. En ons ondersteun mekaar deur dit. Jou dosente is daar vir jou. En op die einde van die dag, as IT nie iets is wat jy vir die res van jou lewe wil doen nie, ek het nog nie een keer regtig IT gebruik nie. Ek het meer my die ander vakke van bedryfsgebruik in die industrie nou, waarvan my vriende wat meer van die IT gehou het weer 'n bietjie meer in daai rigting ingegaan. Ja, so ek hoop dit help.
Kayla, thank you for your question. I kind of echo what Inga's saying. You know, no matter what degree you choose to study, there's going to be this huge jump between high school and university. And I think with the way the curriculum is structured for the industrial engineers specifically, we start off with your more basic programming languages. You learn the building blocks, the fundamentals. And then as you go higher in the years, you start to take on the little bit more complex things. And the idea is if you just keep on track with your lectures, with your modules, you build up the foundation so well that when you come later on to the more complex stuff, it's easier to handle. I also studied industrial engineering at the Northwest University, and I personally did not take IT at school, and I didn't feel that big of a difference. I mean, I had some of my peers who did take IT and still struggled. You know, it's just a matter of some things are actually different at university. And like Inga was saying, you know, you can always just ask your lecturers. And with industrial engineering, our classes are quite small still. So it's a very personal one-on-one experience with your lecturers. If you're struggling, you know, you can put up your hand, your lecturer can come to you, you can schedule appointments. So that's something that I really valued as a student and as a lecturer as well. So yeah, I think there's a lot of support and it sounds more stressful than it is.
Kayla, ek hoop daar's vrede in jou hart. Ek hoop daar's rustigheid in jou hart. Dit is uit die aard van die saak nie die einde van die wêreld as jy nie IT op skool het nie. This was actually discussed yesterday too. You can watch yesterday's video, especially you must just search for whenever the question was asked. The question was, what should I do? How should I approach this? But the nice thing about IT, and that I can tell you, is because it's IT, there are a gazillion videos out there that can teach you how to program. So the long and the short is, you can do that in your own spare time. Jy kan in jou vrye tyd kan jy dit ook opneem. Ek bedoel as daar 'n lang Desember vakansie is, klasse begin gewoonlik eers hier in Februarie. Dis heeltemal tyd. So as jy wil, dit is 'n keuse, dit hoef nie, but if you are fearful and you're like, "Ooh, how am I going to do this?" You are more than welcome to just go on YouTube, and there are a gazillion things out there, or Khan Academy or whatever, but jy kan gaan kyk en jy sal daai goeders kan doen. En dan is dit soos enige vak wat jy nie aangewoond is nie, dis soos 'n taal. Onthou, programmering is 'n taal, en soos mense 'n taal, jy moet hom leer en jy gaan hom oefen en jy gaan hom gebruik, en op die eind van die dag gaan jy dit bemeester, Kayla, en dan gaan jy dit kan gebruik tot jou voordeel om jou lewe makliker te maak. But that's one thing. We're not talking about a Mickey Mouse degree. It's engineering. It's difficult. And I'm not going to hide the fact that engineering is difficult. It's hard work. That's why only a small percentage get into what this degree entails. And then not all of the people that start finish. And that's perhaps bad marketing, but that's honest marketing. So some students just say in the end, can't do this. But if you're willing to work hard and you're willing to put in the hours, you will get your degree. So dis wat ek sal sê. Kayla, jy moet rustig raak. So Kayla, jy het die meeste, jou naam kry baie ligtyd vanmiddag. Maar Kayla, jy kan rustig wees en ek glo dit sal goed gaan met jou. As jy bereid is om hard te werk, jy sal dit kan regkry. Ons glo in jou, Kayla. Vat vas. Right. So I will keep my eye on the comments coming through, on the questions coming through. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask its closing statements because we have a big panel of 5 people. So Gideon, I'll start with you. Danica, dan is dit jy. Dan Sunique, dan is dit jy. Then Mia, I will hand you over to you. And then Inga, it's you. As jy in 3 sinne moet sê vir iemand wat luister daar buite, hoekom bedryfsingenieurswese? Wat sal daai woorde wees? Ons gaan begin by Gideon en dan vat ons so deur. Right.
I think on the one hand, you're going to get the experience of your life and be able to do a lot of different things with the skill set that you have. Secondly, that skill set will benefit you in every area of your own life. So you have the flexibility to do anything that you can put your mind to. And thirdly, I think it's an awesome degree to enjoy studying. So I mean, you learn to get a network of people who love the same type of things that you do, and I mean, that's what life's about. It's getting a community of people running after the same things and enjoying it together. So yeah.
Okay, vir my, ek het hierdie enetjie al gehoor, dit is shortcut to CEO. Die waar is dit nie, dit was in ons eerste bedryfsklas het hulle dit gesê, so as jy dalk nou 'n CEO wil word, daar's enetjie van ingenieurswese vir jou om te swat. En ek weet nie, ek sal net sê dit is 'n baie veld. So as jy nog nie seker is nie en jy weet ingenieurswese is die een vir jou, maar jy weet nog nie wat nie, dan is dit bedryfsingenieurswese. Ja.
Vir my is dit regtig baie interessant. Dit is glad nie wat ek gedink het dit is nie. Dit is so wyd en ek dink dit is wat ook vir my lekker is, soos as jy kan letterlik van 'n klein company tot by hierdie baie groot company werk, jy kan oorsee gaan werk en dit is wat dit so interessant en cool maak, soos jy's nie gelimit in 'n spesifieke dorp of by 'n spesifieke company nie, jy kan letterlik doen wat jy wil, gaan waarheen jy wil en letterlik net jou vlerke sprei en vlieg.
So I want to quote the dean and say, I'm willing to bet you almost everything you're touching, an industrial engineer has been involved in processing it. Whether it's your clothes, the food you're eating, the furniture you're sitting on, wherever there's a process, there's an industrial engineer. And that for me is the huge value in industrial engineering. If you decide tomorrow, I want to work in the banking industry, you can. If you decide I'm more into manufacturing, you can. So your possibilities are endless. And I would say the sky is the limit, but we have industrial engineers working at the International Space Station for NASA. So industrial engineering can take you to the stars. That's what I want to say.
Yes, I think, well, I'm lost. So everyone almost said what I wanted to, but you should be passionate about wanting to improve things. If you really think that there's no excuse for just keeping something the way it is and we can always make something better or improve something, then you're really an industrial engineer. And at the end of the day, I'm linking to the previous questions, industrial engineering in general and industrial engineering, it is difficult. There are difficult subjects, there are subjects that are easier, but it's that passion you have and the dream that you have of becoming an industrial engineer that's going to motivate you to just keep on pursuing it even when you stumble sometimes. So really follow your passion, and that's what I did, and I never regret it. That's my piece of advice.
Thank you very much. Yes, to perhaps link to that, the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, she is an industrial engineer, and I know everybody is now smiling in this panel and saying yes, yes. So that's one thing that I can mention. So ek luister na wat vandag gesê is en ek dink terug aan al die gesprekke wat ons al gehad het oor chemiese mineraal ingenieurswese, meganiese ingenieurswese, elektriese elektroniese ingenieurswese, rekenaar elektroniese ingenieurswese en vandag bedryfsingenieurswese. If you came to the point where you say, now I know better and I have a clearer idea of what I want to study, then I'm very glad. If you're like, no, Corneels, you just confused me even more now because we have all, it's like a smarty box. I'm just totally confused because everything sounds nice. Well, then I would still recommend that in the time before you have to study, please do yourself a favor and shadow somebody in industry. And what's nice, I'm thinking about a company like Sasol. Sasol is a company where you will have industrial engineers, chemical engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, all of those. And perhaps you can do a shadow for a week or two, visit one company and get an idea of what all these people are doing, and you can see it for yourself. But yes, that's a difficult one. I see Inga has her hand up. She wants to add something. Inga, by all means, you can add.
Thank you, Corneels. It's just on something that you said, and it's advice that you gave. Really, ask people in the industry questions if you have. We're more than willing to help you guys. So if you ever have a question, search us up, send us an email or a LinkedIn message, or I don't know where you can find us. But we really do love to help people and tell them more about what we're doing. And if that can help you to decide what engineering to pursue, well, that will just be an honor to answer your questions then. So yes.
Fantasties. Ek probeer nou hier terug te gaan en te sien wie die vraag gevra. O, dis Johanay. Johanay, daar het jy dit. So daar is maatskappye daar buite wat bereid is om op die eind van die dag voornemende studente die geleentheid te gee om te sê kom kyk wat behels die beroep. En ek dink dis uiters noodsaaklik. But with that then I don't see any more questions. We are then at the end of this afternoon. So tomorrow we have a brand new program that will be hosted at the Northwest University as from next year. I'm interrupting myself. Hier's 'n vraag. Wat is die proses om te reël vir 'n shadow geleentheid? So Inga, I will have to jump to you. How would you propose? You're going to get 1 million people contacting you. You're going to just, your task agreement will now change for the rest of the year. I'm just going to do shadowing work. But in any case, no. What would you propose to do that? I would say the following. Contact us. You can just send a message. I think that would be the easiest. engineering.nwu.ac.za/hello, HELLO, and all the information is there. Where you can email, or you can just register for the database. In Afrikaans, engineering.nwu.ac.za vorentoe streep AF vir Afrikaans, nog 'n vorentoe streep hallo, maar HLLO. So the one English is hello with an E, die Afrikaans een is hallo met 'n A. Maar gaan net soontoe en die inligting is daar en engineeringinfo@nwu.ac.za sal die maklikste wees. En dan kyk ons wat ons kan doen. Ons kyk ons uit die aard van die saak, ons help waar ons kan help binne beperkings. Maar Inga het aangebied, sy het haar hand opgesteek. Inga?
A piece of advice I wish someone told me is LinkedIn. I don't know if you guys heard of it, but it's basically the business world's Facebook environment. So you create a profile, you say where you went to high school, where you're busy studying, even where you're working. So a fast way to do that is maybe just to search for industrial engineers, and you will find people on LinkedIn you can contact. You're more than welcome to contact me on LinkedIn, for example, and I can answer questions for you. And then also just companies in general. I think if you get a company's email address and you email them at their basic, normally they have like an info@ and the company's name, address. That's how most of the engineering students also arrange for vacation work. So you can just email them directly and ask them and introduce yourself. Like, I'm this person, I'm really interested in this type of engineering. Would you mind if I could come for a day and check things out? Or even just, do you have an engineer that I can speak to? And hopefully, fingers crossed, you will get the opportunity.
Baie dankie Inga. So daar's 'n paar opsies. Ons sal kyk hoe ons kan help en akkommodeer sover dit moontlik is. Maar ja, net gebeur dan. Vandag was bedryfs, môre megatroniese ingenieurswese, splinternuut, en Vrydag kyk ons na elektromeganies, en dan Maandag het ons 'n spesiale laaste episode. Die uitvoerende dekaan gaan by ons aansluit. So as daar enige vrae nog is oor ingenieurswese, Maandag is die ideale geleentheid om nie te mis nie. Jy moet inskakel, dan kan jy letterlik vir die CEO van die fakulteit kan jy 'n vraag vra. So I'm just reiterating that. Tomorrow is mechatronic, then on Friday it's electromechanical, and then on Monday there's a special edition where we'll be talking about a tutor program that's specifically focusing on matrics and grade 11s for mathematics and science. You cannot miss that. And the executive dean will also be joining us, Professor Liesel van Dijk. And if you have any additional questions, so the session will focus on the mentoring, but then also if there are any unresolved issues, any questions that you still might have after this 2-week period we've had this online engineering week, you are more than welcome to join us again on Monday. So I'll see you again tomorrow. Môre skakel ons weer in om 3 uur en dan is ons reg met daai vraag. So van ons kant af, baie dankie dat julle ingeskakel het. Thank you for joining us. Keleboga Bomele Bontate. It was very nice having you here. Mag julle 'n wonderlike aand hê. Have a very nice evening. Usale sempre.